Alright guys, this is video blog number 2. Um, got a couple of comments from you guys. You wanted me to talk a little bit about recall and why it was so hard to get your dog to recall. First of all, number 1, recall always ends the fun with the dog. Stop smelling, stop playing with your friends, stop doing this, come here. It's just not fun. So one of the ways to get around this is going to be to play games. Now, the games I'm going to describe are really easy. It's ping pong and it's hide and seek. The problem's going to be that unless you make the game start in a really non-distracting environment and raise the game all the way up to a really distracting environment, it's really never going to work. If you just practice in the house, you're going to end up with a great living room dog who will recall whenever you call inside the house. But if your dog gets loose out in the front yard, your dog's going to run for the hills. Or you may have that dog who in the backyard decides maybe I should just make mom chase me around the backyard because I want to play the game of chase. So let's start with ping pong. It's nothing more than monkey in the middle, okay? I want one person to stand on one side of the room, another person to stand on the other side of the room, and I want you to each have 3 to 5 treats. You're going to call the dog back and forth using the dog's name. When the dog gets to you, always ask for a sit, always grab the collar, give the reward, and then the magic. Give your release word. Say all done. Once you're done, the dog then gets to run back to the other person, and you keep repeating the process. But, just as a real quick tip, always include the collar grab. A lot of dog bites happen from a person accidentally grabbing a collar and a dog redirecting. You also have dogs who don't want to be grabbed when they're doing recall because they don't want to be under control. If we condition our dogs with treats and games that part of recall is having the collar grabbed, you're going to appreciate it in the long run. Number 2 game is hide and seek. And I want you to basically start this in the house just like you would with ping pong. And you're going to put treat jars all over the house. Use just basically dog food, no big deal. If you're upstairs brushing your teeth, call the dog upstairs. If the dog finds you, you give him a cookie. Of course, after you've asked for the sit and the collar grab. Or if you're doing laundry, call the dog into the laundry room. You're just getting the dog to understand that even if you can't see me, but you can hear me, you got to come find me. Now, here's where it gets complicated. Because within a couple of weeks, you're going to think you've got a great recall. It's working great in the house. It's not going to work great outside in the front yard or in the backyard. So the next thing is we take both of these games out to the backyard and you start practicing these games in the backyard. Once you're good in the backyard, move to the front yard. Once you're done in the front yard, you move to the city park and use a long line, just a really long leash to practice. If you don't constantly be ratcheting up the distraction level, you're never really going to have a lot to practice. This brings me back to my final point on consistency and frequency. If you're not frequently consistent or consistently frequent, easy for me to say, you're never going to get anywhere with dog training. A good recall program should last 6 to 8 weeks. It shouldn't last 6 to 8 days. So I know a lot of you are frustrated because you've made it through the house portion. Get your butt out in the backyard, get your butt out in the front yard, go to a city park, work your dog out in distraction. Stay positive. Don't get frustrated. A couple of final little tricks about recall. Number 1, your voice is really important. Keep a happy, squeaky voice. The dog's going to be more apt to come to you. Also, body position's pretty important. Lower your body position. Kneel down. The dog will be more likely to come to you. Finally, don't ever punish on a recall. All you're doing is teaching your dog that you're Jekyll and Hyde. If you punish on recalls, your dog is going to look at you like, what mood are you in, and then make the decision to come to you. And all I mean by punishing on recall is don't call the dog to you to punish. You shouldn't need to use punishment anyway. If you stick to the ignore the bad, reward the good, you're going to be better off. Keep the comments coming. Hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on the blog. If you've got questions, we'll cover them again. Again, I said, we're going to try to do video blogs at least once a week, and we're going to try to make them fast and furious, just with some tips that'll help you out. I appreciate all the support, guys. You have a great day, and remember, keep it simple, stupid.